Welcome to the Short Rod Show. You're talking with Ben.
And Brett.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We're back to another regular episode, and actually something pretty exciting today. We're actually out on the ice.
Yeah, real excited. I didn't think we were going to get it done today. We're actually just here in town in Ankeny. How thick do you think the ice is? 2.5, 3 inches?
I'm going to say about 2.5 to 3 of pretty clear, solid ice.
Yeah, real solid.
You know, we talked about ice safety before. We've talked about that with you guys, and going out and using your spud bar and some common sense gets you a long ways, and that's exactly what we did this morning.
Yeah, I mean, we came out. I knew I could walk on water if I could hit it 2 good hard hits before going in, and Ben's hooked up with our first bluegill of the day. Oh, crappie. Nice. Dang.
So, yeah, we're out here on a little lake in town. Weren't sure if there's going to be enough ice, but we had some pretty cold temperatures last night that helped to lock everything up and just add that extra layer underneath and make it safe to go out. So pretty exciting on a Sunday afternoon to be able to do that.
Yeah, really for having to kind of change up our plans a little bit. We've had some pretty decent action. Nothing real big, but constant action and kind of keeps you busy and excited about it. Ben, what are you fishing with and what are you catching?
Yeah, so far I've had really good luck on our friends at Widowmaker, their tungsten dropper series. This is I think a 4mm running the crackerized pink setup, the pink color. And I'm also fishing a micro noogie in pink, one of my favorites. Started with a red micro noogie.
Pink on pink, huh?
And they ripped into that immediately as soon as I dropped in on this lake. And then it's been up and down. It's slowed down back and forth, schools of fish kind of coming in and out, which is typical. Nothing surprising there, but really just having a variety of baits to test out helps out a lot. And so far, I've thrown the book at them. Rattling flyers, tried out their demon tongue, the dinner bell.
Yeah, that's what I got on right now, and it's not quite getting it done.
Yep, and then you tried out the Cadis. Cadis game's doing really well.
I've been running the number 10 pink Cadis the whole time, and that's been mostly the juice. But you got to change it up when you're on a good bite to play with some new lures. And demon tongue's a new to me lure as of last week, so.
Yeah, and we're just getting back in kind of our first time fishing for this season, so we're both a little rusty.
Yeah, it was real nice setting the first hook. That first hook set felt real good.
Yeah, it's a good feeling after a long summer of being away from the ice and just missing that ice fishing action. So I actually was fortunate enough to get out yesterday a little bit. Went over. We were visiting some friends in Cedar Falls and found a little pond that was locked up enough. Had a little bit of ice on it in town, just in a public park basically, and went and fished that. And my second fish was a 14-inch crappie.
Damn.
I could not believe it.
That ain't so bad.
Had a little experience trying to get it out with my Ghost Freefall reel, which is a little disappointing, but it was pretty cold. Maybe 20 degrees, really windy, and that Ghost froze completely solid.
Yep. So what kind of rust have you been knocking off so far, Ben?
Man, just all kinds. I'm learning. Basically, you start fresh every year, it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm fishing left-handed here because we got our mic set up in the way. But it's working pretty good so far. I mean, just seeing fish come in on the flasher and seeing them stacked up is pretty cool.
And I'm giving up on this demon tongue.
No more demon tongue. And you got a waxy on there, right?
Yeah, demon tongue and a waxy. Otherwise, what I've been running is the Cadis and the waxy, and I'm going to go back to that here for a little bit. But I've also got back-to-back. So last weekend I picked up Clams Frost ice line, and then I also picked up some Suffolk Advance, both 4-pound, and I split my rods with them. So we'll see what I think of each one as the season goes on. So far, I mean, they're both brand new lines, so they're going pretty well the same.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're planning a pretty good episode for you guys here today. Again, of course, thinking about talking some ice rod
we had
qualities.
We had a question a couple days ago, a guy asking about just power rods, and then he had a specific question about noodle rods and kind of what the difference was with that and ultralights. And so I think we'll break that down a little bit as we fish here today, and hopefully catch a few fish as we go through.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. So that's coming up next on
The Short Rod Show.
Hey there, guys. If you've been over to our website lately over at shortrodshow.com and like what you see, you should get in touch with our partners over at Evergrow Marketing. They're a digital marketing agency that works primarily with landscape and lawn care businesses, but they also work with guys like us. They can help your business show up on Google and also get you a lot more customers through their unique digital marketing methods. Reach out to them over at evergrowmarketing.com and make sure you mention that Ben and Brett sent you from the Short Rod Show podcast to get an additional 10% off your first bill.
Ben and I would really like to thank our listeners. Since we've aired this podcast, we've gotten an unbelievable fan response. We just want to remind you guys where you can reach us at shortrodshow.com. You can feel free to email us or follow our newsletter. You can also find us on any of your podcasting platforms, Apple Podcast, Podbean, Stitcher, and Spotify. Also follow us on Facebook, The Short Rod Show, and anytime you see those 5 little stars, please hit number 5. Hey, welcome back, guys. Ben's hooked up again.
Oh, man.
What's he bringing in?
Beast.
Fighting you a little bit?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a deucer twister.
Holy crap.
Spun around about, 6 or 7 times. Maybe, a 7-inch bluegill?
Yep.
Spun around a handful of times around your deucer. Those ones are always fun. At least we're in the shack. You don't freeze your hands trying to get that thing undone. And there's not a huge school below us. But, yeah, as we were going today, we're going to break it down a little bit for ice rods. I mean, as I'm pretty vocal about on this show, that I like to run the schoolies a lot. And kind of what I like about those is they got a heavy backbone, but I still have that super light bobber on the front. So really I can set that to some of the weight of the jig that I'm fishing with. So what I do is if I'm running like a Cadis, that I don't even know what the weight those things are. Super light.
Nothing.
Super light. I can
Yeah.
bend that bobber down a little bit so it's a little lighter. And then if I'm running a heavier one, like I was just running that Demon Tongue, it's still not a real heavy bait. I don't know, maybe 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce.
16th probably.
I can bend that bobber back a little bit and it can control that bait a little better. Really, I think in the question we got earlier this week, a guy was asking about, would a noodle rod or an ultralight rod be able to handle walleyes? And really, to me, that's a legit question, but it's not quite the right question. To me, when I'm looking at a noodle rod or a ultralight rod, I want a rod that's going to be able to handle those baits, not necessarily the fish. Those rods will be able to, especially ice fishing, they're a little lethargic. They're not fighting like they do in the summertime. Those rods will be able to reel in pretty much any fish you're going to catch. There's some differences, if you're getting into sturgeon or lake trout or something like that. But for the most part, what we're catching here in Iowa and in a lot of other places, you're talking about 10, 11-inch perch, 8-inch bluegills, 10-inch crappies, and maybe a 20-inch walleye. And I don't know, I think a lot of your rods will be able to handle that. What it comes down to is I end up using a larger lure for those walleyes and those bigger fish, where I use a smaller lure for the others. And that's where the noodle rod comes into play. That noodle rod will load up a little bit more on those smaller lures, where if you put a bigger bait on there, it's going to load it up all the way, and you're not going to get that little noodle action or that indicator that you're looking for.
Yeah, and I guess if people aren't sure, explain a little bit what your definition of a noodle rod is. What makes a noodle rod a noodle rod?
Well, to me, a noodle rod is basically a rod that you don't need a spring bobber for. So the tip of that rod is so light that it'll load up on anything. So it basically just replaces the need for a spring bobber or something at the end of your rod. Where more of like an ultralight, it has that action still going all the way through the rod, where you still would want a spring bobber for those super light bite indicators. And then going back to the noodle rod, then you go from that super light strike indicator right into a backbone, and that's how you set the hook.
Sure. And noodle rods generally are the fiberglass rods. You'll hear them called noodle rods, glass rods. Basically, fiberglass gives it that extreme flexibility that, like what Brett said, it lets the tip load up with your bait. So when it's just hanging there, it's in a loaded state where you can tell if there's a crappie that comes in for an up bite, it's going to unload and you're going to see it raise. Or if you have a down bite, the traditional bite, then it's gonna pull down even further. So you can tell that very easily just by watching your tip. And a lot of noodle rods too have a high visibility tip on them. That just lets you see the fish bite a lot easier, especially talk about ice fishing. A lot of it is in low light conditions, early mornings, at night. Just having that high visibility tip comes in really handy. And that's another thing too. I've done it before on rods, and schoolies have it too with that orange indicator, but you can just take some bright neon spray paint and cover your rod tip.
Oh yeah.
In that. Just give it a little extra visual pop when you want to see your bites.
Yep, just to do anything so you can see that bite, especially those up bites on crappies. If you didn't have a noodle rod or something like that, and the action of your rod goes all the way to the tip, it's real tough to detect an up bite, especially. I mean, I don't know how you would even really be able to do that without that's what brought on the spring bobber, and now that's what's brought on these noodle rods more recently.
Getting one? Oh,
nah,
chasing one.
I think I need a new.
Switch tactics.
Yeah.
Yep. Add some fresh bait on there.
Yeah.
So right now, for an example, I'm fishing with a light power Shields tournament rod, and this is maybe a 24-inch rod, which is pretty standard. This would be more of a traditional kind of ice rod for fishing out of your fish house, where maybe you don't have a lot of room for tall hook sets. A 24-inch rod will still give you, enough fun to kind of play the fish out, but it's definitely not as much fun as, say, a 32-inch rod.
Yeah, touching on those hook sets like you just said, because that's another important aspect of your noodle rods versus, say, my schoolie or a more heavier rod. Yeah,
so especially with this setup I'm running, I have the Ghost Free Fall inline reel on here, and then also some 1-pound Suffix Ice Magic. So, this is very finesse kind of line. So, I don't use a spring bobber on this, although you could. Most of the time when I'm in my house, I use the line as the indicator. So, I'll look at the line to see a fish bite on there before I can feel it on the rod.
What's that mean? Like it's going slack?
It'll either go slack for an up bite, or it'll just take a little bit of the coil out of the line when you have some downward pressure on it. But as far as hook sets go, on a rod like this, your light power rod, you're going to need to lay into the fish a little bit and make sure you get a positive hook set. The stiffer the rod is, generally the less you'll have to pull up to get a good hook set and make sure that hook sets into the fish's mouth.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where you get a rod, you'll just have to test it out, and that's part of getting to know each rod and each setup that you have. With Brett Schooley, basically, you're setting the hook the same on most of them, right?
Yeah, when you're talking about hook set distance, there's one.
There you go. That looked like a better
I might
fish.
give him. Oh yeah, he's a fighter. Oh dang it, lost him.
Ooh.
I might give him maybe a 3 or 4 inch, maybe 5-6 inch hook set. That's why I like to run mono, because I need that stretch.
Just a sharp little.
Just a sharp flick of my wrist. Where Ben, when you're running like your bullwhip, you're damn near raising that thing to the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, missed a bite there. Yeah, and you want to make sure that you get a good hook in them, because that bullwhip will bend the first 10 inches of it, will really load up, and you're not fully hooked on a fish until you can get...
Till you get to that backbone.
10 inches of travel on there, to get the backbone to set into the
And then you got some stretch in your line you got to work through.
Yep, and just running mono there. Now, if you're running braid, that cuts down probably in half the amount of force you'll have to use for a hook set, but...
Yeah, but then you run into a host of other problems with braid.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people like them, but I've never had nothing but they just freeze up on me. Braid does.
For some reason, the water just beads down the braid like you wouldn't believe, and then you're not able to get rid of it, really. It doesn't melt off. It just clumps up into a big clump. Oh, my gosh.
What is going on down there?
Brett's putting on a clinic on how not to do a hook set.
Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, that's the problem, is I'm thinking about it too much now.
Now that we're trying to explain it, it's pretty complicated.
Hosed me up.
We got fish all over the screen now. That's what's cool about these little ponds, where you'll just have a school come through. You get a lot of lookers and a couple fish that'll just come up, and they're really on it.
Yeah, and it's not like you're out here to catch hogs. You kind of just come out here for some constant action, kind of just scratch the edge sort of deal.
Yeah, plus early season, there's these smaller ponds are generally the first ones to lock up and get fishable ice.
Yep.
Whereas your bigger bodies of water, there's not a chance.
Well, like I said earlier, knocking the rust off. I've been messing with the settings on my Hummingbird here this whole time I've been here now. Just converting it from open water back to ice. And it's a lot of fine tuning stuff. I mean, it's got an ice fishing mode, but getting your sensitivity set right, getting your noise filter back to the way you want it, that sort of stuff.
It's a process. It's a good. Yep. It's a good little test run for us.
Yep, and I finally got her back to where I like it.
Yep. No, that's awesome. We talked a little bit about rod power, but we had another good question too about what would be a good beginner rod for someone looking to maybe upgrade a little bit or get into something that they feel is pretty reasonably priced, but
schoolie rod would get you right in there.
Does a good job.
That'll get you right in the money.
I definitely recommend a schoolie, though, in all honesty.
Yeah.
For getting out and just learning the mechanics of ice fishing, you can't go wrong.
And if you're only fishing 4 or 5 times a year,
yep.
I mean, these things are plastic, they're fiberglass, they're damn near invincible. I think the only maintenance I've had to do on this entire rod ever is change out line, and a few times I've had to super glue the strike indicator back onto the rod. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Want me to get the deucer for you, or
nope.
You got her? Oh, yeah.
Keep them out
there
over
you go.
here. So there's another gilly.
So that's the pink on pink. Did it again,
pink
huh?
On pink.
Nice. Yeah, another rod, another deucer twister.
Horrible. Just horrible.
Oh, got one on me. They really do come in waves here, don't they? Man, I was just lighting them up before we started recording, and now I can't catch anything. Problem is I keep looking or thinking about talking, and I'm not watching about fishing.
So yeah, in all reality, a good rod would be for a beginner definitely that schoolie, just to get a feel for how ice fishing works, how the hook sets work, if you're even gonna like it. I mean, that'd be a pretty big bummer to drop a bunch of money on a rod and figure out ice fishing isn't for you.
Oh yeah.
And then try and Craigslist it and have a bunch of people
lowball
you.
What was your first rod that you picked up, Ben?
Definitely a schoolie.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know who I heard about schoolies from, but I'm sure I went into a bait shop and just asked around, figured out what would be good to try for a beginner, and wouldn't be too complicated for me to figure out.
Well, and the price is right. I mean, you can get them for $12.
Yep, can't beat that. This Shields Tournament Series is also a pretty good, solid option, reasonably priced. $20, $25. They go on sale even cheaper than that. Match that with a decent reel, whatever kind that you like. Everyone has their preferences on them, but
and slap a spring bopper on that thing, and you're good to go. You got a heck of a panfish rod. Pop that off. If you're more concerned about crap or walleyes at that point, or catfish or something bigger, well, catfish you'd still want that spring bobber because they're pretty light bite.
Yeah. Well, that's a nicer fish.
Yeah,
it's got a good bluegill on.
What, 8-incher?
We got her up through the hole finally. Sweet.
Yeah, finally. Geez.
Finally.
That was brutal.
Yep. Another good option we've talked to a little bit. Gave Brandon some crap for his radioactive pickle, but the tickle stick.
Yep.
$50 rod. Is kind of the classic noodle rod with that flat fiberglass tip going into a little bit stronger backbone. I mean, you can catch some big fish on those.
Yep.
Probably want to stay away from maybe the ultralight. I think his is a light. It's got a little better backbone to it, but really when you get into the spring bobber type tips, you don't need as light of an action of a rod.
No.
And you really don't want that because you want to be able to have some versatility in your baits. Like what Brett was talking about at the heavier spoons. If you're trying to fish a rattling flyer with a ultralight tickle stick,
it's tough.
It's going to be real tough.
I mean, it's weighing you down already. You're kind of just losing that super light bite that you were looking for. Ooh, there's a nice crappie.
Cool.
Oh, boy.
Pink on pink. Once again, that Widowmaker dropper jig in that pink crackerized finich.
You like that crackerized, cool. Huh?
I mean, it catches a fisherman's eye.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it definitely does that at least.
It's pretty cool.
Dang it. I got one right on me. Come on. There we go.
All right. Hooked up.
Oh. Ooh, we got some head shakes on this one.
We'll try and give you a blow-by-blow. Brett
There he
reeling
comes.
in frantically on his schoolie.
Yeah.
Tried to find one that
Ooh,
made a little noise.
That one's got a little more shoulders to her than the last one. Yeah, I tried to get a squeaky one out.
God forbid you oil it. I can't do that. Ruins the drag.
But I didn't have the right bait hooked up on the squeaky ones. Oh, come out of there. There we go.
But yeah, part of the goal of this series is just to teach you guys you don't need to go far away from home all the time to have a good time ice fishing and to catch fish. We got 2 roads that intersect each other. Traffic's going by like crazy. People are probably looking out saying, what the heck are those guys doing?
Oh, yeah, we Swiss cheese this little pond. We got both clam plates, 7-inch augers, and just went to town out here. Drilled a pile of holes. Took us about 5 minutes, and we found the school that we were looking for. Set up the shack, and now it's just kind of been one after another.
We got the podcasting equipment set up. Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I really like this mobile setup.
I'm glad we can do that just to add a little extra dynamic to the show.
Yeah.
It's not just always recording live from the basement.
Yeah. The baby crying in the background.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. But yeah, the fish seem to have picked up.
Yeah, the school's definitely cycling back through again.
Definitely getting some more bites. All the bluegills we've caught are, decent. I mean, 7 to 8 inch.
Yeah, I mean, those ones don't bother me. It's when you get into those 3-inch ones that you just can't keep away from. Those ones start to get annoying. But a good 7-8 inch bluegill. I mean, even though I'm not going to keep them, those ones are a lot of fun still. And then you got the potential for a few bigger ones, a couple crappies mixed in. I know there's a few we caught a few catfish out of here previously, and hopefully here in the future we'll get on a couple lakes that I like to go catfishing in.
Yes.
Then we'll be in for a show.
That'll be awesome.
That's one thing you don't see a lot about is a lot of information about catching catfish through the ice.
That's a pretty unique bite too.
Oh, yeah. You kind of got to know what you're looking at there because it's a super light bite. It's not like they come in and just take it. It's like they just mouth it a little bit.
Yep.
Take off.
You got to let them chew it for a while.
Yeah.
Before you set the hook. And we're fishing in about 10 feet of water. I think this whole lake is probably 10 feet is the max.
Yeah, but we're just right off a little hump over here to our backs that bumps up to about 7. So we're kind of right at the base of a little drop. I think that kind of funnels them a little bit. And the way the pond sets up, this is kind of a narrow spot anyways. And there's a drain over off to our right.
Yeah, it's always good to see a little bit of water flow through these just to keep it oxygenated and the fish all active through the winter.
Yeah, that can get you in trouble a little bit, especially in some of these city parks that if it does rain, because, I mean, in Iowa, we are known to get a couple rainstorms in the middle of winter, that really eats up the ice.
Yeah, that can make it a little dangerous. You definitely want to keep an eye on the water levels.
These smaller ponds, especially these ones like this in town, you really want to spud them out every time, even if you were just out there. If it's been raining, I've been out here multiple times before where water's coming back up through the hole, just because it's been raining the day before.
Yep. And definitely, if you're going out early ice, go out and spud the lake for yourself. Yep. You can't just take for granted that somebody did it right, or maybe they took a different path to get out to where they went than you might. So don't just go barging out off the shore thinking that you're just going to go straight out and fish next to somebody that has checked the ice. Maybe they came from the other side of the lake, and the side you're coming in is not safe. So definitely don't take it for granted. Spud the heck out of it for yourself. Make sure you know what you're doing.
Dang it, my hook sets have been garbage. What kind of line is this that I have on? Which one is this one?
That's schoolie line.
No, this is the damn Suffix line.
So Suffix gets a negative mark?
I don't know if I've got enough of a sample set yet.
I was going to say, you're blaming everything on the line?
Must be this damn line.
Is it just stretching too much?
I don't know.
You're just not getting a good hook?
I'm just not getting the hooks in them. I didn't have any problem before we started this podcast.
Are your hooks worn out from catching too many fish?
I hope not. It's brand new. I better get the file out.
Yeah. Can people do that?
Oh, yeah.
They file the little hooks?
Why couldn't you file your hook down? Oh, I know I have. I've filed some rattle and flyer trebles before.
See, for me, now that's totally a Brett thing to do. File down your little tiny hooks.
Well, I didn't have any spare ones to
spend a while to do it. I just spend a couple bucks and buy some new trebles.
I didn't have any on me, and I needed to sharpen that sucker.
Just a split ring, throw it on there, away you go.
Well, even that, I don't hardly even run the split rings anymore. For the most part, I trade those out for snaps. So then I can snap them off and pop a minnow head on there, right through the shaft of the treble hook.
Ooh, that's one thing I do want to try this year is to do some salted minnows.
Oh yeah,
And just have those in the sled with us if we want to use them. Cool. Do some dead stick setups on some salted minnows. Just something a little bit different than just running out trying to do live bait all the time, because that's just a pain.
do you know where you can even get salted minnows at?
Oh yeah, Shields has them. I would think Sportsman has them too.
I have no idea. I've never looked.
Yeah.
I've only just walked right past, right all the way to the
Mills
back
has them
and
too.
grabbed a 250 pack of
Yeah, tell them that story.
waxies.
Just making out like crazy on the waxies.
Well, what it is, I think I didn't catch it as the lady checked me out. Or as the checker checked me out.
Checking you out.
I got the 250 pack for $3.
That was a steal.
But that's after I'd bought a couple other things. I didn't do the fast math in my head. I kind of feel bad about it. Usually I like to point that stuff out, but yeah.
Well, you give them enough business.
Yeah,
You know, they'll make it back
I
in
got the
spades.
rewards card there.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
Like the credit card or?
No, it's just a deal where you
No.
they keep track of. You get like 1% of your purchase.
They love to push those credit cards though on people too. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't sign up for any of those. I'm a one credit card household.
Good deal. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you end up just packing your wallet full of it. Forget about it
Yep.
until they keep sending you mail. How's that battery holding up on your
I was just
Humminbird?
thinking that. I was just looking. It's still going. We're still at 0.75%, which that's basically where it starts out at. I mean, it'll be at 100 for like 15 minutes, and then it'll drop down to 3/4.
Yeah, that's decent.
So we'll see how long that lasts. If it becomes a problem, then we'll get into the DeWalt action. But dang it, I was just looking. Those lead acid batteries are just so damn cheap. I mean, for $20, I can buy the lead acid battery and be done with it, rather than buying the conversion.
I think having something that's pretty light is a cool deal.
Yeah,
You'll just
well,
be bouncing around like crazy.
when you're strong like me, it's not that big of a deal.
You get a strong arm. Yeah, we're really excited this year for some tournament series and getting out, trying our new clam plates. We're just gonna tear up lakes. It'll be so cool.
Oh my gosh, it was
Show up
unbelievable.
and just punch holes all over the place.
It was unbelievable how quick we could punch. I don't know. I bet we've got 100 holes out here. But that was mostly just me.
I know. And you were just going to town.
I was just going to
trying it
town
out.
on them out there.
Yeah, I'd say your blades are pretty sharp on there.
Yeah, that's
worry
still a
about
good
it.
purchase. Yeah, the clam plate build has been excellent so far.
Are you gonna extend your auger extension out?
Oh yeah. It was
Okay.
just short, just because it fit in my
Just because?
ice fishing closet better.
Yeah, that definitely helps your back, keeping that thing stretched
Keeping
out.
it upright, yeah,
Yep.
definitely helps the back, and then it also kind of helps you hold it better when you break through the ice. It doesn't suck you in. Like I had a couple
Yeah.
times here where it would chip through the ice and it would drill through it, and then you can't pull it back out very well.
Yeah, that's a good setup. The clam plate idea, man, I'm surprised no one else has tried to imitate that. I think they just kind of concede defeat.
Yeah. Oh, here comes somebody. Oh, dang it! He's coming in hot.
Yeah, it kind of stalled out for a while. The action just went away. Fish are
There we
schooling somewhere
go.
else. Oh,
There he is.
Brett's hooked up.
He's a mean one. Nice gilly.
Isn't it cool now we can kind of tell what kind of fish is going to come up
Oh, yeah.
based on how they act?
So what happens? Bluegills definitely they circle the hole as they come up. They're spinning around in circles.
There we go.
Crappies, they're kind of going off to
Ooh.
one side.
Ooh, he's got some
We got
shoulders.
a bass on here. No, just a little freaking
A
7-inch
little?
bluegill.
That's not that little. He had some shoulders, man. The alpha male of the group.
Yes, it must have been something like that.
But yeah, they'll spin around like crazy.
Bass, they'll haul, they'll peel line.
Yeah, bass are a lot of fun to catch through the ice.
Catfish, they'll also circle the hole when you got them. They just lock out the fins and then they just circle the hole.
Haven't been very good at figuring out how to target bass through the ice, though. I mean, we're generally always fishing lakes that have bass in them, and
Yeah.
we'll catch an occasional one, but to actually target them is a little different story. I don't know how you do that.
I've never really tried. I've just had them when they're there, and I'm happy to catch them.
But we're pretty much panfish fishermen.
Pan fishing and catfishing. That's pretty much the juice around here.
And when we're catching catfish, it's on panfish jigs.
Yeah. Well, the rattling,
rattling
yeah,
flyer.
the flyer. They do like that with
catch
some
everything.
shad guts on her.
Yep.
Come on, little buddy.
Yeah, it's good to actually be out fishing instead of sitting in the basement talking about fishing.
Oh,
Definitely.
gosh, dude. Really scratched the itch. And this is really the first week that we had. I mean, even the guys up on Clear Lake and Bogie, they've really only just gotten out this week. So
Yeah, yep. Definitely enjoy seeing all the pictures of everyone out fishing on their lake of choice, whether it be the guys out in Minnesota and North Dakota just making fun of us down here in Iowa for only getting out this week. There's a crappie.
Oh, yeah, that one's all
That's
right.
a better one. They're pretty much all cookie cutters, though.
Yeah. I mean, they're all just small enough to where I don't know if I'd want to keep them, but they're all right.
They ain't no 14.
No.
And yeah,
no,
we're
that was
just
a nice fish.
We're just mostly catch and release fishermen too.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with keeping some fish for the pan, but definitely when we talk about if you get on a good lake, a good bite, it's all about throwing the big fish back, knowing which ones to keep and which ones to let go.
Seed for next year.
And that's something a lot of people don't understand is they feel like maybe a 10-inch bluegill is at the end of its life and it's not going to live that much longer. Might as well take it home, eat it. Really, that 10-inch bluegill is especially the males are the ones that are protecting the nest during the spawn, and they are crucial to make sure that they are still more big fish on that lake in the future.
Well, what happens is then if those big ones get taken out, then the little ones become sexually active, and then they stop growing once they think they're big enough to, get it done.
Yep, and then it's just stunted bluegills in all your lakes that drives everyone nuts.
Yep.
The number one complaint. All I catch are dinks.
And surprisingly enough, for these
bluegills.
ponds, you really don't have that too bad. I think they get enough pressure. I don't know if I've really ever seen anybody take too many fish out of these ponds, but they don't ever seem to be stunted where you're just piling up 3-inch bluegills.
True. I mean, occasionally you'll catch those, but I mean, those are probably just the young of the year
Or
coming
stocked.
through. You know, they're not the only fish that are in that lake. Which is pretty cool.
Oh,
But
coming
yeah,
in
we're
hot.
pretty fortunate in Ankeny here to have all these ponds managed for fishing. Be deep enough to not winter kill. Have a little bit of flow going through them, get some oxygen to them, and just have public access to them as well. I mean, we're off a little driveway to get down to it, but you can have a nice little parking spot and grab your sled and away you go.
Yeah, they've really done a great job with that, even just around the whole metro, not just Ankeny, is public fishing spots and opportunity that, there's some really obvious public ones that like we're on today, but then there's some that are tucked back a little bit in some of the suburbs that you don't necessarily know about or go back to, and they can really be good. That and today even, or just the other day, I was out looking. There's a lot of public hunting and land areas that have ponds on them that you can also go to fish.
Mm-hmm.
So check those out and see what you see out there. And found a few ponds I think we're going to go try out this year if we think we can pull back to them.
Especially with the building boom around here, they're building new ones every day, it seems.
Oh,
like.
yeah. There's
you scouted a couple out trying to figure out how deep they're going to be, where the hot spots are going to be with some brush piles in them.
Well,
too.
yeah, I saw they put some rock piles in a couple
Rock
of them
piles.
that they're building up, and I was like, oh, baby. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's
That one-
solid.
That one was a good
Nice.
hook set.
That schoolie is bent in half. Wish you guys could see that.
Doesn't happen very often.
That's almost a light action schoolie, though.
Yeah, this one is a lighter one.
It's got a little noodle rod action to it.
This is the
noodle
medium
schoolie.
length, the 26 inch.
Oh, there's a good mark at 5 feet. That's when you know.
Probably a carp.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We'd never get it in. Did you see that article earlier this year that some guy caught a 50-pound carp out of one of these ponds?
No,
Yeah, freaking
that was
huge.
nuts. Yeah, that would not fit through our 7-inch hole.
No, we'd figure it out. And we'd bring our listeners with us.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a riot getting that thing up. Hopefully we catch something like that on the show while we're recording.
Can barely make a hook set on the show while we're recording.
It's harder than it looks, people.
Yeah, this microphone, you really got to kind of watch out so you're not hitting it all the time, although I can still hear myself hit it from time to time.
That's all right. It's better audio with the mics than recording in the Tahoe.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
That didn't sound too bad, but
No.
definitely you can tell having the mic equipment is good.
Yeah. Well, I just like the mobility that we have. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just good to get away for a little while and drop in some recording and just do some fishing.
Yeah. Well, Ben, you got anything you really want to add? Any other pressing deals? I feel like we're kind of starting to ramble a little bit.
A little bit of rambling. That's all right. No, basically this year's been really good. Just being able to get out this last 2 days is all.
Yep.
And more to come this year. Definitely we'll be out recording from the ice. Drop by if anybody is out, sees our shelter out. Check us out.
Yeah, we're
Come
going to try
say
to
hi.
get some branding on the shelters to get some Short Rod Show stickers on the... Or what was that stuff? The vinyl you're going to get ironed on.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
And do some graphics on the side of our shelters. So you'll be able to see us coming a mile away.
Yep.
It'll be cool.
And we've got some decals and stuff that we've kind of been playing with. Just kind of some fun stuff. Tell her about that printer you guys got or whatever.
Yeah, more to come. We're printing our own custom decals. So that'll be cool. Short Rod Show decals. Have our website on it. We're working on some logo things. Basically just trying to get get our name out there. Everyone likes to have something with their name on it. So Brett's got his cool Short Rod Show bucket we're fishing out of right now. And it's just really cool deal. Brand your stuff.
Yep.
I like that. So once again, if you guys have any feedback, you'd like to ask questions, interact with us, feel free. Go on Instagram, Facebook. Send us a message. Even better, go on there and comment so other people can chime in as well. It's really cool to get a discussion going like that. Brett and I definitely are not the experts on everything, but we definitely have some strong opinions on things as well. So we'll chime in and help you guys out as best we can.
Yeah, we've at least, we fish enough that we at least have experience with something. Maybe it's the right, wrong, or indifferent answer, but it's we'll comment on the solutions we came up with anyways.
Yep, absolutely. Just a lot of fun interacting with all the Short Rod Show fans, and they're growing by the day.
Oh, goodness. It's been
cool.
Yeah, when I've told a couple people this, when we first started talking about doing a podcast, I was just kind of looking up online to see, kind of curb my expectations of what we could realistically expect out of this thing. And several articles that I was reading would say, that first year, don't expect a lot of listeners. It might be your mom and your girlfriend are going to be about it. And obviously, Ben's wife must also be listening as well.
Well, wife and girlfriend.
Wife and girlfriend. Oh, yeah, that was legit. Dang it.
Our wives and our girlfriends are listening. We got 4. Oh, yeah, it's been pretty cool seeing the downloads climb every day, and we appreciate you guys for listening in. Hopefully you're listening to us out on the ice or in the car while you're driving to work. Our goal will be to have some more episodes like this out on the ice and just talk about topics that you guys want to hear. So Brett's going to get one more fish in.
High crappie here, like 4
perfect.
foot.
4 foot out of 10 is
We'll
pretty
see.
good
I haven't had
sign.
any luck getting these real high
Yeah, you're
flyers
not gonna be able to get
today.
a bite. I don't see you catching that one.
I don't know.
That schoolie's getting loaded up. The hummingbird
No,
screen
I don't
is
think
just
it's going
full.
to happen.
All right, well, maybe we'll catch them next time on
The Short Rod Show.